8. Wild Card Weekend concluded. It featured 4 straight lopsided butt kickings. A pleasant surprise within those ass kickings as the Texans upset the Chargers. A great finish from Jayden Daniels and the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. And one final lopsided ass kicking from the horns of the Rams to the limp horns of the Vikings. Not only did it cost the Vikings a shot at the Super Bowl, but it probably wipes a 0 off of Darnold's next contract. I am Brandon Perna, and this is the real winners and losers from the NFL Wildcard Weekend. Real quick, we are roughly 6,000 subscribers away from hitting 700,000 subs, trying to get to 700K before the end of the football season. And shout out to everyone who subbed recently, 20,000 subscribers added in the last month alone. Ravens linebacker Roquan Smith asked his teammates before the game,
"What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to give up?"
Their answer? Anything. Anything except the Blop 10 plays. That shit is like the cigarettes of football entertainment, they said. Addicting and so smooth. Blop 10, Herbert's flaps in the wind. All we are is flaps in the wind. Coaches go to all that trouble to cover their mouths when they're calling plays, and Justin Herbert's out there just letting all of their plays dangle around for the world to see. Blop 9, Dicker the kicker gets cock-blopped. Someone needs to alert Cameron Dicker that this is A, not volleyball, and B, the ball is live! The ball is live! Dicker the kicker should have been Dicker the picker. Pick that ball up and save your team 2 points. Flop 8, Mac Hollins showed up as Fred Flintstone, and then the Bills turned the Broncos into a pile of Barney rubble. If the Bills win a Super Bowl, will Mac Hollins have a ring fitted for his finger or his toe? Hard to say. He probably wears gloves more often than shoes. Blop 7, Ryan Fitzpatrick on Twitter. Ugh, what kind of sick individual who talks about football does that, Ryan? You're a dirty, dirty man, Ryan, and you should be reprimanded. I wish magic was real so I could unsee your unclean Twitter account, you sick fuck. Blop 6, Jim Harbaugh was trapped in a disgusting Nickelodeon bubble, which he said reminded him of those 9 months he remembers vividly inside of his mother's womb. Welcome to the embarrassing Nickelodeon club, Chargers fans.
Who's got it better than us? Who's got it better than us?
Who's got it better than us? Well, I'm afraid about 8 NFL teams right now, Jim. Blop 5, A.J. Brown was caught reading a book on the sideline. Nerd. Fucking nerd. It took some digging, but I found the title of the book A.J. Brown was reading. It was called How to Not Murder Your QB When You Only Have One Target, especially if your team is winning. That book is now a New York Times bestseller, and sadly, AJ gave a really nice answer about reading his book on the sideline.
Man, it gave me a sense of peace. That's a book that I bring every single game. You know, my teammates call it a recipe. You know, that's the first time I heard that y'all got me on camera.
Block 4, Todd Bowles knowing the difference between left and right.
Keep getting out of the pocket to his left, to our left, his left, our left, his right, and we got to cut that down.
If I've ever seen someone who needs to write an L and an R on his hands, it's Todd. Also, maybe less time worrying about mirror directions and more time learning clock management.
And did I catch a niner in there?
Blop 3, this hit Jayden Daniels takes on the sideline. I'm convinced that if you painted a hole onto the field, Jayden Daniels would run a quarterback sweep right into it, and just when you thought he was done falling, an anvil would come crashing down upon his head. Blop 2, the greatest opponent the Rams faced all night was indeed Nike. Yeah, get that shoe on. Come on, Stafford, help him. And Blop 1, the Commanders ending their 19-year playoff winning drought by doinking in the game-winning kick with Chris Collinsworth on the call.
That may have been the 6 inches that made the difference.
The 6 inches that made the difference?
Doink them.
Does this make the Commanders My wife?
That was the 6 inches right there.
Today's episode is sponsored by Manscaped.com/goodsports. Whew. For the playoffs, Manscaped is offering their very own dual threat package with the Beard Hedger and the Lawnmower 5.0. Those two tools will have your face and balls covered, plus all the open field in between. And God knows I got a lot of open field in between. Look, I got my dad the Beard Hedger for Christmas because he's been rocking a beard for about a year now. He said his trimmer sucked, and after a few weeks of testing the Beard Hedger, he hasn't asked me for a different gift, so I think it's good. Plus, he really loves the built-in zoom wheel, which helps provide 20 different beard lengths. I use the Beard Hedger as well, and I might be overdue for a run with the old Lawnmower 5.0, which, if you don't know, after 7+ years of working with Manscaped, is a pube trimmer for your wiener and testiball area. Both trimmers are waterproof if you decide to groom in the shower, but the biggest reason I love the Beard Hedger is you can't confuse it with the Lawnmower 5.0. It's so girthy. And who doesn't like a girthy? The point, I never mix up which one's for my face and which one is for my dirty downstairs parts. Head over to manscaped.com/goodsports to get the beard and balls bundle today and join over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Again, manscaped.com/goodsports to get 20% off plus free shipping. Link in the description. We really didn't know who was a better football team heading into this matchup, Washington or Tampa. And at halftime, Baker Mayfield and Jayden Daniels each had 108 passing yards exactly, and were both the leading rushers on their team. But my twinning
With the Twins.
goes to the Commanders receivers Terry McLaurin and Diami Brown, who each had exactly 89 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Baker and Jayden, though, each had an opportunity to close the game out for their team late, and that's where Daniels capitalized. He finished with 268 passing yards, 2 TDs to Baker's 2 TDs, and a $185. Now, Mayfield does get my winning run, aka Barkley Mayfield, was nice with it, dropping his shoulder, pinballing off of defenders. I thought Tampa was going to pull it off after a big goal line stand by the Bucs defense. This came after the Commanders had a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line. This stop, though, turned into our fuck the refs call of the weekend, or missed call, because on 4th down, Levante David gets away with a pretty egregious pass interference. We, over at benchwarmershop.com, make sure all of our coffee proceeds do go to researching ways in which the refs can indeed be effed. But for the Commanders, this set up our winning ball don't lie moment as Baker Mayfield fumbles the ball a few plays later back to Washington. It was a wonky snap or a handoff attempt by Baker. That was the first turnover of the game, and the Commanders got another chance at trying to score. Now this time on 4th down, Jayden Daniels hits Terry McLaurin in the end zone to take the lead late in the 4th quarter. The most important tackle, though, in this game was made by Marshawn Lattimore. Tampa was driving after that Commanders touchdown, trailing by 3, and on 1st down, Bucky Irving breaks left and Lattimore stops him a yard shy of the sticks. And with 2nd and 1, and then 3rd and inches, the Buccaneers settle for a field goal after their line just gets obliterated. And that set the stage for the rookie quarterback. Jayden Daniels leads the game-winning drive to close it out, fires a laser dot dime to Diami Brown. Austin Eckler then comes down with the ball after spinning around. Diaby for the big play on the final drive. Plus, Jayden converts this 3rd and 1 that should have been a loss for, a mortal quarterback, which set the stage for the game-winning doinking on that field goal. Jayden Daniels is my winning rookie. He was more impactful this weekend than Bo Nix. He's been clutch all year long, and he's just fucking fun to watch. And he joins 2003 Peyton Manning as the only quarterback to lead an offense with 0 turnovers and 0 punts on the road in the playoffs. And if he plays his cards right, one day, Jayden Daniels can also catch Peyton Manning's rushing record. Losing defense? Well, with no help from their offense, Pittsburgh let Baltimore jump out to a 21-0 lead, eventually falling 28-14 in a game where the final score isn't as bad as the ass-kicking the Steelers endured. The Steelers not only couldn't stop Derrick Henry, but they allowed an asinine 227 yards after contact. That is my losing stat of the week. The Ravens finished with 299 rushing yards. It was 300, but then Lamar had to kneel it to end the game. My winning running back, yes, hail to King Henry, baby. Lamar Jackson compared Derrick Henry running the ball to Lightning McQueen.
Give Cars. You watch the movie Cars? You're a little bit too old to watch Cars, but anyway, when Lightning McQueen just flying, flashing past, and then it's like, that's how Derrick looked. He was running past, and all those guys just, it looked like a movie, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The King, though, slapped Minkah Fitzpatrick so hard, he didn't know if he was Ryan Fitzpatrick or Minka Kelly. King Henry may have set powerful women back a century as he rushed right past the opposing queen for his second long touchdown in the game. Henry finished with 186 yards and averaged a filthy 7.2 per carry. Baltimore gashed the Steelers with 50 rushing attempts. The Ravens were the only team this season to execute a touchdown drive with 13 plus rushes and 0 passes. If Henry is Lightning McQueen, well, Lamar is his best friend, Mater. The Steelers, having to account for Lamar running the ball, gave Henry some of the biggest running lanes of his life, which brings me to my unhung hero for the Ravens, tackle Roger Rosengarten.
Looking for Henry Ruhlenfurter.
The rookie protected Lamar Jackson so well that TJ Watt didn't record a single stat. I know Watt's banged up, but Rosengarten
Ravenboozer
has developed into a great tackle for the Ravens. The Ravens' other tight end actually had a better stiff arm than Derrick Henry in this massacre disguised as a playoff game. Isaiah likely buried Cam Sutton into the dirt, and with a little water and patience, we will see Sutton sprouting into a beautiful flower in a month. Which game had the most cool shit? Well, it was Broncos-Bills. First few plays of the game, 43-yard touchdown to Troy Franklin, who dropped 90% of these balls this season. Cool shit. Perfectly executed fake punt by punter Riley Dixon. Cool shit. Josh Allen completing this pass to a running back for a touchdown, even though it looks like Ty Johnson's foot touched out of bounds before he secured the ball. Cool shit. And it wasn't Khalil Shakir, not Amari Cooper, not Keon Coleman, not Dalton Kincaid, but Curtis Samuel torching Defensive Player of the Year candidate for a 55-yard TD. Cool shit. The Bills possessing the ball for 41 minutes. Cool shit. Me being content with the playoff loss? Indeed. Cool shit. My winning quarterback was Riley Dixon for his one very cool throw on 4th down. What? Sorry, Josh. You hurt me. You hurt me, Josh. I don't care if you were 20 for 26, only taking 2 sacks against the most prolific sacking defense this season, one of which was a sack by Zach Allen, and I dare you to try to say Zach Allen sacks Josh Allen 3 times fast. 272 yards, no interceptions, no fumbles, Baker, and a passer rating of 135. Allen felt like the quarterback who made the biggest difference for his team with the ball in his hand. And again, the ball was in his hand for 41 fucking minutes. Riley Dixon had the ball in his hand for 10 seconds, and he was 100% passer. That's my winning quarterback. It's my fucking show, and I'll do what I want. My losing coach, Mike Tomlin. I don't know what the Steelers should do. I really don't. But I know Steelers fans want change. Let's go through it. The Steelers last won a playoff game in 2016 when they bested Alex Smith and the Chiefs in the divisional round before falling to the Pats in the AFC title game. Since then, the Steelers have made the playoffs 5 times and lost very convincingly to the Jaguars, Cleveland, the Chiefs, Buffalo, and now Baltimore. Jeff Schwartz said that Pittsburgh is in the worst position in sports. They're not good enough to go on a run in the playoffs, and they're not bad enough to bottom out and draft a stud quarterback. Sounds pretty nice to me. Tomlin is both an overachiever and an underachiever at the same time. He's gotten to the playoffs with subpar QB play, but he's still wasting a very talented roster. And at the end of the day, his lone Super Bowl win is old enough to get a driver's license. And also too old to attend a Diddy party. Now, the Roonies love stability, and Mike Tomlin is as stable as it gets, but the Yinzers are restless, and they're an organization that's too proud to keep suffering one-and-done exits in the playoffs. One coach who lost without his team even playing this week was Mike McCarthy. Dude, the Cowboys waited a full week and blocked an interview in the interim before parting ways with Mike McCarthy, who now hits a coaching market a full 7 days behind the other candidates. Now, there are still openings with the Raiders, Jags, Jets, and Bears, and Saints, but they've already begun their search and have done interviews. So Mike might have gotten the shaft from Jerry. Jordan Schultz also reported that Bill Belichick would have been interested in coaching the Cowboys, but didn't know that the job would open up, so he took the gig at UNC. Great stuff, Jerry. Schultz also said Belichick would be interested in considering this position still, but I just can't see a former Patriots coach abandoning the team he agreed to coach before the season even starts. Losing QB? The if man, Justin Herbert. Herbie threw 3 interceptions all regular season. Quite the achievement. But it all goes for naught when you top that in a single wild card game, throwing 4 picks in the biggest game of the season, including a devastating pick 6 to Eric Murray. What a roller coaster of a week for Emmanuel Acho, who's long been calling Herbert a social media quarterback, while having sex with the people he works with. When you shit the bed like this in the playoffs, that stink is going to follow you around the entire offseason. The Chargers are indeed my bed shitters, and for Herbert, his 2-game playoff resume now includes a blown 27-point lead at Jacksonville and this full-scale meltdown in Houston. Rex Ryan said the Chargers got a bye week when they were set to play Houston, but nobody told the Texans.
Who had a worse day, me or Justin Herbert? It's probably right there.
Especially their defense, which saved its best game for the annual Saturday afternoon Houston Wildcard Invitational. Herbert is still going to get a ton of excuses from his many fans in the media. Looking at you, the ringer. But I think the average football fan is now catching on to the idea that Herbie fully loaded has yet to accomplish anything outside of being the king of analytics and cool all 22 throws. More like Herbie fully bloated. As for the Texans, you do get our winning defense. I mentioned the 4 picks. Kamari Lassiter got 1 and Derek Stingley got 2. 1 coming off of Will Dissly's ice-cold hands. But Houston also had 4 sacks in this game. Will Anderson Jr. and it's Amadio Edwards combined for 3. And the defense was key in holding the Chargers to 6 points early as CJ Stroud started cold. He had an overthrow so high not even Wimby could snag that shit, and he threw a pick in his own red area, which was his first postseason pick. That was bailed out by one of those bad Herbert picks. This game, though, changed for the Texans when CJ Stroud pulled off our only Mahomes play of the game. 3rd and 16. Ball flies through CJ's hands. He picks it up, rolls to his right, and throws it from the sideline like Josh Allen actually there, and picks up 34 after launching it to Xavier Hutchinson. He followed that with back-to-back passes to my winning receiver, Nico Collins, who capped that drive right before the half with the touchdown. 70 yards of offense for the Texans on their first 5 drives. That 6th drive, a mouse dick shy of 100 to take the lead. Nico finished with a $122 and a TD, and D'Amico Ryans gets our winning soundbite.
What changed to put up 10 points in the final 6 minutes?
Yeah, CJ Stroud changed. He stepped up, made a big play.
And our Joe Burrow Award, which is given to the player that no matter what he does, his team loses, going to Ladd McConkey. Ladd was the only player the Texans needed to defend, and they couldn't do it. He put on his assless chaps and showed the Texans defense his butt on his way to this beautiful 86-yard touchdown. Of course, his teammates answered by giving up 2 points on the PAT. After that TD, Ian Eagle said it best.
So even when the Chargers do something right, they do something wrong.
Ladd, though, broke the rookie record for most receiving yards in a playoff game, surpassing Puka Nakua's 181. McConkey would finish with 197 and a touchdown and a playoff scorigami. My losing start, the Packers, who just happened to fumble on the opening kick. That was a revenge hit by former Packer Oren Burks, knocking the ball loose. Now, Jalen Hurts capitalized right after that with a touchdown pass to, holy shit, I forgot Jahan Dotson was an Eagle. I'm going to give the Eagles' offensive line my winning pass protection for that play. This is good pass pro, right, guys? Hurts had 6.75 seconds to throw the ball there. I think Lamar had 7 seconds on one of his touchdown passes, but that's because Lamar extended the play, dancing around like a politician dances around truth. Jalen Hurts could have taken a nap, woke up, brewed some coffee, shaved off his goatee, regrew his goatee, and still had time to find Dotson. My winning stiff arms? Yes, plural. It's going to Dallas Goedert. I thought Isaiah Likely had this in the bag for the best stiffy of the week. Instead, Goedert unloaded on Valentine 3 times on his way into the end zone? Have mercy. The Eagles won 22-10, but I want to ask the question, how good is Saquon Barkley? Well, I thought the Packers did a decent job containing him. Sure, he had a few big runs, but keeping Barkley in check in my brain means holding him to 119 rushing yards. Barkley ended up winning Tom Brady's LFG Player of the Game. My losing injuries, the Packers, this game as well. I believe per next-gen stats, the Packers averaged 1 injury per drive, a new NFL record. Romeo Doubs went down with a concussion, Elton Jenkins, shoulder, center Josh Myers, knee, Jaden Reed, shoulder, Devontae Wyatt, leg. When Jenkins went down, his replacement, Travis Glover, was benched after getting 3 penalties, and it was literally the most "it just wasn't our day" game I have seen in a while.
Yeah, right now. Nice. That's about par for the night right there.
And I think all of those injuries were part of the reason Saquon went down when he could have ripped off a 70-yarder to win the game. Fortunately for the Packers, Justin Herbert tossed 4 picks, just edging out Love for our losing QB. Instead, Jordan Love earns our Jameis Winston Award, which is the anti-game manager honors, as he tried to sling it, but ended the game with 212 yards on 33 attempts and 3 interceptions, including one where his pass was so perfect, he stuck it right into Darius Slay's arm and pinned it to his chest. The worst throw coming right before halftime to Zach Bond. Nobody has more multi-interception games since the start of last season than Jordan Love, who's done it 7 times now, and he picked a bad time for unlucky number 7. Conversely, my winning game manager, I'm going to give it to Jalen Hurts, who didn't do much. But you really don't need to do much if the opposing quarterback is throwing 3 picks. Hell, Jalen even got the cliff notes from AJ's book. This was kind of a dream scenario for the Eagles. Run the ball 34 times and only drop back 23 times. Hurts didn't turn the ball over. He did take 2 sacks, but he also threw a pair of TDs. Did a white corner get an interception in the playoffs? No. But Cooper DeJean will get another chance at it next week. And the revenge dagger? Mike Evans was in line to grab the revenge dagger of all revenge daggers against Marshawn Lattimore this week. Lattimore has just about locked Evans in a steel trap for most of his career, but Evans caught all 7 of his targets for 92 yards and a TD, with most of them coming against his arch rival. He also had the most impressive effort of the weekend with his stretch for a first down, only for the Bucs to squander it and lose the ball a play later. So ultimately, Evans fell on his own revenge dagger. Capping one of the least competitive wildcard weekends I can remember was indeed the Rams and Vikings. And just like the Texans, I underestimated the Rams, who scored first and came to play. my winning big brain, big head, big brain, Matthew Stafford, who might be the smartest quarterback alive. He tossed this ball forward to avoid a sack. It was ruled a fumble live during the game. Upon review, they saw that Stafford did indeed push the ball forward, making it a forward pass, and Stafford did push it towards Puka Nacua, who was in the vicinity, so it's not intentional grounding. But if Nacua wasn't there, they wouldn't have been able to retroactively call intentional grounding. So, as a quarterback, if you can make your throw look like a fumble and they don't call it intentional grounding, they cannot correct it during the review. So I would do that every single time I was about to be sacked. Sam Darnold should have tried this during one of his 39 sacks during the night. Okay, it was only 8 total. One of his did actually turn into a fumble 6, so maybe that's not a good idea. Oh shit, no, there's 9 sacks. There's 9 sacks. There's 1:41 left in this game. Johnson gets a sack. We get a big D Johnson sack in this game. That happened live. I was trying to cut some time here and record before this game officially concluded, but the Rams got a 9th sack. A 9th sack. Oh my god. Here's my point, and let me put on my boomer hat, okay? I don't think if a quarterback does this or this or this, any of this should count as a fucking forward pass. For it to be a forward pass, it's gotta do this. Or this if you're Phillip Rivers and his, Any of this other shit, you can still do it, but it counts as a fumble. That's how I want the rule to play out. That is all.
There's no rules to help the defense in the NFL. You can get away with that and call it an incomplete pass.
Now, through one half, Darnold had the worst sack EPA since the year 2000. And that's a fancy way of saying Sam loves lots and lots of sacks. Better watch out, Bonnie Blue. Sam is coming for your record. Sorry, he's going to try and break your record. Didn't want to sound unintentionally dirty there.
And then he just keeps on coming.
6 inches that made the difference.
Winning sack blasters, the Rams defense, who became the first team in the 20-aughts to record 6 sacks and return a fumble for a touchdown in the first 30 minutes of a playoff game. Byron Young had a sack and a half. Kobe Turner had 2 sacks. Kobe Durant had a sack and a pick. Neville Gallimore had a sack and a half, and legally nearly ripped Sam Darnold's head off for the 8th sack of the evening by the Rams defense, and Jared Mann went into the Jared verse on that scoop and score, reaching a speed of 19.88 miles per hour. Congratulations, Rams, though, because you surprised me. You handled business, you dominated this game start to finish, and I'm honestly happy one LA team got a big win this weekend. Thanks for watching the real winners and losers here on That's Good Sports. And we just dropped our Devil Magic shirts over at benchwarmershop.com. Devil Magic. You know what it means. Is it the Chiefs? Or is it just any lucky team?